This is the free motion quilting tutorial for flower skeleton. This design is stitched by first starting with your zigzaggy skeleton lines. So you're going to start in the center of your quilting space, and then you're going to zigzag all the way down to the edge. You're going to get back into the center and create another zigzag. You're just going to kind of create these and radiate all the way out as far as you want to go, or as big as your flower is going to be. So you're going to hit that edge and then come back. Now if you're going to place this into a quilt and it was just going to be a flower shape, you could just mark a circle and stitch the zigzaggy lines to the edges of that circle, or however big you wanted your flower to be. It's really nice that you can just kind of limit the size of it if you don't want it to fill up the whole block. So as you can see, I'm stitching back now, back into the center, and this just requires just some patience just to get it all laid out. And then once you get back to the center, all you have to do is stitch back and forth these kind of arching lines, and you're just going to start with a nice arch and then simply echo them. So travel stitch along the edges of those zigzaggy lines. And this is a really interesting design because it's a combination of very straight lines, very sharp angles, and then this very nice curving design, this curving shape that creates an interesting combination and a very contrasting texture. When I came up with the idea of this design, I was playing with different designs using the zigzaggy lines and decided, well, what would happen, and mostly I was thinking, what would happen if I tried to combine kind of a lightning bolt type of shape with Super Daisy. And that's where the idea for this design kind of came about. This design does require a lot of very careful travel stitching. You can see how I'm very carefully staying on the edges of the block and within the edges of the zigzaggy lines. And that's one of those things that's going to make this design a little tricky for beginners. So take your time with it. Don't try and rush because it is a design that you want to keep those lines perfect. You want to keep them exactly where they're supposed to be. You can see every once in a while I just want to make sure that I'm not stitching on the wrong side of my quilt. And now to get back, I'm going to stitch all the way back to the center along these zigzaggy lines, all the way back in, and then I'm going to start my arching shapes again, starting from the center. And you can make this really nice and arched for more of a definite flower shape or more of a subtle arch. It's entirely up to you. You can see I didn't really try and make this into something like that would look like a circle. It's more like petals, and that's what you should think of it like. And here's what it looks like whenever you finish flower skeleton. For over 200 videos on free motion quilting, check out daystyledesigns.com.